An airlift rescue on the side of Mount Everest, where about 1,000 climbers were staging for ascent when this earthquake struck on Saturday. It looked and sounded like this. Oh. The earthquake shook the snow and the ice on the side of Everest, sending avalanches down onto the base camp. At least 17 people there were killed. 3 of them are Americans. We managed to establish a phone connection to Everest Base Camp just a short time ago. I spoke with Jim Davidson. He's a climber from Fort Collins, Colorado. He survived the earthquake and the avalanche.
And we are at Camp 1 at 19,800 feet on the Khumbu Glacier. We are safe and we are hanging tough in here, but it is kind of nerve-wracking being up here with all these earthquakes and avalanches coming down around us.
Take me back to the moment of the initial quake. What was it like?
Well, we had done a tough climb of about 5 or 6 hours up to Camp 1. We'd all gotten here, had a little food and water, and we're resting just about noontime. And then all of a sudden we heard an avalanche sound off to our left, just a couple hundred yards away. There's a mile-high wall of Nuptse. We heard the avalanche sound. We started to get ready to scramble out of the tent. And before we could even get the rest of our clothes on and stuff outside, the tent started bouncing up and down vertically about 6 inches. And we thought it was so much weight in the avalanche that it was kind of closer to bounce, but it was the earthquake. And we had nowhere to run. We were surrounded by crevasses on three to four sides, so we just had to stand there in the cloud and listen to the debris roar circles. And frankly, just pray that it didn't get close to us.
Have you been feeling the aftershock?
Yes, we have. We felt 4 or so, maybe 5 yesterday. They were also accompanied with huge avalanches off the side slopes. The aftershocks were not as big, of course, as that first one, but in this case, instead of the glacier going up and down, this massive, massive glacier that's miles and miles long felt like it was sliding back and forth. And then there were those avalanches again. And then we didn't feel any for about 18 hours, but we felt another pretty big aftershock, the biggest one yet, this afternoon. It was just about 24 hours, maybe 24 and a half hours after the original quake. And again, it triggered those avalanches nearby. So we're feeling pretty precarious right here, even though we are staying away from those avalanches so far.
How dire is the situation for the people around you who are injured in terms of how long they can wait until they need to be airlifted?
Well, here it's Camp 1, and above us another 1,500 feet at Camp 2. As far as I know, there are no major injuries. We've had some altitude sickness. We had somebody with a heart problem, apparently. Those people have been flown out. So right now, the people that are here are relatively healthy. We're a little nervous and a little altitude sick, but doing fine. It's the people down at base camp where there have been much more severe injuries and some fatalities that have been getting the bulk of the rescue help as is appropriate. So the folks down there, they're getting good definitive care. All the teams in the mountain have been helping each other out. So we're just hoping that the weather continues to stay good in the morning and we can get more injured people out of here by helicopter.
How long are you and the people around you there at that point on Mount Everest going to be able to stay there until you have a plan of how you're going to get safely off?
Well, we've been working on a plan the last day or so. Some of the Sherpa guys and Western guides checked out the ice fall, which is the tricky part for us to get down to base camp. It looks like the ice fall route has been severely damaged and is not going to be able to be reinstated very quickly at all. So we're now working towards getting some helicopters in at the next turn of good weather. It's about 9:30 here at night, almost 10 o'clock, and I'm outside, and the moon is out, and the stars are out. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for good weather tomorrow, so we can start those helicopter flights to fly people from the upper part of the mountain over the ice fall to base camp.
Jim, when you and those with you do get off the mountain and see really the devastation around you there in Nepal, what is your plan? Are you going to stay to help? Are you coming back to the United States?
Well, we have to get down first of all, like you said. And, yes, we're going to be able to give whatever aid we can. We've got some medically trained people up here that are very anxious to get back down to base camp. to lend a hand. So I think we're going to do the best we can to help out as much as we can. It'll be approaching 48 hours after the accident until we get down at the earliest, and it may be later if the weather's bad. But, of course, there's a lot of people in base camp that are going to need some help. Base camp needs to be disassembled. So it's very difficult to say what the plan is now, but people are going to be sticking around for a while and then slowly trying to figure out how to work our way back towards Kathmandu and home. But that's going to take some length of time because, as you know, the poor people in Nepal have been really hit tragically by this earthquake.
Jim Davidson, stay safe. Thank you so much, sir, and please keep us posted as you can and let us know what help is needed on the ground there when you do get down so we can get the message out to our viewers as well. Jim, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the good wishes and support.